only about 8% of people actually achieve their goals. And I think the main reason is that most people focus on setting goals without building systems. For years, I was setting random goals, which are basically just wish lists. And that's why most goals remain unachieved. But when I switched to breaking down my goals into actionable daily steps and held myself accountable to them, everything changed. Suddenly, I started hitting goal after goal, and it wasn't by chance. It was by design. This shift is the system that has truly transformed the way I achieve my goals. I've hit most of the goals I've set for myself by using this system, and I want to show you how to do the same thing. As I set new goals for the upcoming year, I'm going to break down my process so you can follow along. These aren't year-long goals. They're broken into 90-day objectives, which for me is the sweet spot. It's enough time to make significant progress, but short enough to avoid burnout and loss of motivation. To start, I'm using the Finisher's Journal for its helpful frameworks. But you don't have to use a specific tool. Just paper or an online platform works too. I've been using this journal daily for the past few years because it fits my system, but the most important part is the method, not the tool. Before jumping into the specifics, I turned to the last page of my previous journal and reviewed the goals I set for myself before turning 30. I've just turned 29, and with a year left before I reach 30, I've got some exciting and big goals that I want to hit. A great source of inspiration for goal setting comes from the 12-week year asterisk, which is part of the system I'm using. It's about thinking ahead to where you want your life to be at the end of the year, where it's not only exciting but motivating enough to spur action, make tough changes, and take on difficult tasks. Your goals should be ambitious but also realistic, something that could seem insane but is still achievable if you stay on track. For example, one of my goals is to reach 1 million subscribers. After 6 years, I've gained 600,000, so adding another 400,000 in a year doesn't feel too outlandish. This might seem like just a subscriber count, but I'll break it down further to show you how to turn that into a realistic goal. Another goal is to buy my dream house, and I'm finally addressing a long-standing shoulder injury that I've had for over 10 years. These goals aren't detailed here, but you can apply the same breakdown to any of your own. A great exercise is to write down what you want to have accomplished by the same time next year, in future tense. For example, my name is Gabe. I'm 30 years old. I live in my new home. My net worth is X. I have a BMI of under 10%. My shoulder is fixed. And I've read 12 books. This type of detailed visualization helps you see exactly who you want to become and makes achieving these goals more likely because it forces you to act. Next, let's dive into the actual goals. We'll use the SMART goal method: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Without these elements, your goal is just a wish with no structure, and you're unlikely to achieve it. Take my subscriber goal. Over the next year, I need to hit 400,000 additional subscribers. So let's break that into a 90-day goal of gaining 100,000 subscribers. Looking at my progress over the past 90 days, I gained around 32,000 subscribers, so I know gaining 100,000 might not happen just by continuing what I've done. Therefore, I'm going to step up my game. I'm increasing my video output to 2 videos a week instead of 1. This could double or even exceed the results I've seen so far. I'll post every Saturday and Thursday at 10 a.m., and I'll also set aside time to shoot 3 videos each week to stay ahead. This way, if I'm ever unavailable, I have a buffer of content ready to go. That's the power of building systems, creating the conditions for success, tracking progress, and holding yourself accountable to actionable steps each day. If you break down your goals like this, you'll achieve more the next 90 days than you did all of last year. Try it for yourself, and you'll see the difference. I'm aiming to shoot 3 videos per week, and while I could break that goal down further, the essential idea is to take my long-term goal, break it into 90-day targets, and then translate those into actionable steps. These steps must have deadlines so that I stay accountable and on track. For instance, my goal of increasing subscribers is a bit tricky since I can't directly control that. But what I can control is my posting schedule and the effort I put in. The hope is that this focus will eventually lead to the desired outcome. While subscriber count alone may not be the best goal to chase, it's a start. And this method helps me focus on things I can control. Now, let's talk about motivation. For me, the drive behind my business is a key source of motivation. It supports everything else I want in life, from a better family life to buying my dream house and traveling more. Business success isn't the only thing that fuels my life goals, but it certainly plays a big role. One thing I've also been using is a habit tracker. I'll be tracking my physical activity, starting with walking 5,000 steps per day. No more than 2 missed days in a row. It's simple enough to maintain and will help me stay active, especially since I haven't been moving much in the past couple of months. For my weekly plan, it's important to focus on the one thing that will make my week feel like a success. I get this concept from a book called The One Thing which asks, what's the one thing you can do that will make everything else easier or unnecessary? For me, this week's priority is shooting 3 videos. I'll spend about 2 hours scripting on Monday and Wednesday while also organizing my monthly schedule so I know what I need to write and plan for the upcoming week. Another key task will be to brick my phone for 5 hours a day to reduce distractions, because honestly, that's one of the biggest obstacles to achieving my goals. With a solid plan in place, I'll write down the 3 specific videos I'll shoot next week, allowing for more focused preparation. I'll also plan out every day in detail, marking the most important tasks, the secondary tasks, and a one thing that would make that day a success. Today, for instance, I'm focusing on shooting this video. If I get this done, I'll consider today a win. One simple but powerful step is actually writing out my schedule on paper. I've found that when I do this, I'm way more likely to stick with it than if I enter the tasks online. Having my plans physically written down in front of me every morning helps me stay on track. At the end of the week, I'll review how things went, figure out what worked well, and improve on what didn't. I'll then track my progress and plan for the next week. The key is to constantly check in with my long-term goals, ensuring that my weekly plans are still aligned. This feedback loop keeps me on track for months at a time and ensures I stay focused. Finally, if you're curious about the tools I'm using, I'm working with the Finisher's Journal which helps me structure and stay organized. I've been using these journals for years now because their framework fits my process perfectly, but feel free to use whatever method works best for you. If you're interested in grabbing one of these journals for yourself, there's a discount link below. Hopefully, this provides a helpful roadmap as you plan your goals for the year. Let's see where I am in a few months when I reach 700K subscribers. Here's to making real progress.